So I am off to the hospital. Been having some pain lately.
I got my baby Wander with me, trying to juggle a few balls in the air this morning here with Ashley in the hospital. Oh, I see, it's not down there. Yeah. That's cool. Baby. We go for a walk every morning here along the waterfront, and there's a lot of fishing boats right out here, longtails, and they're catching lots of stuff. And they have buyers come by in their little trucks, and the buyers have mobile aeration units that aerate the water. Oh yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Prawn.
Oh, big.
They bite?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. They love babies here too.
Any boy?
Boy, yeah. This one boy? Girl.
Boy too.
Yeah.
That's crazy, eh?
Does it have 8 legs? Looks like it's got more than 8 legs. God, they're creepy. It's got more than 8 legs. It's got 10 legs.
The horseshoe crab is actually from the spider family. It's not really a crab. It's a spider.
Say bye-bye, Willa. Bye-bye. We'll see you when on the way back.
That's why we like traveling. Stuff like that. Little things like...
Whoa!
Oh my god. Its head got knocked off.
I don't know, look.
Oh!
What kind?
Sing, snake, sing.
Snake
Sing, yes, yes.
Sing.
Sing. Oh!
So, eventful walk this morning. The fisher folk were worried about us actually seeing a cobra, and there are cobras around here, obviously, because they were stressed that we were coming too close to a cobra. But that one wasn't a cobra, it said it was a sing.
There's a lot of king cobras in Thailand. Krabi is actually known for having some of the biggest king cobras. But usually they don't bite unless you're like stepping on them.
No, they actually say like don't walk in high grass and like don't go into fields that you don't no.
If you can't see your feet, you shouldn't be walking there, is what they told us when we first arrived in Thailand at the boatyard. So yeah, anyways, back to original point. That's why we love traveling, showing our kids little things like that, like fishermen and snakes. After sailing over halfway around the world, we landed in Thailand. That was over 2 years ago. Back then, the plan was to fly home, pop out a baby, and continue on our travels. But this pandemic hit. Now we're returning to our boat to continue on our circumnavigation with 2 under 2. Wish us luck. We're gonna need it.
So I am off to the hospital. Yay! We're not having another baby, which is why I went to the hospital a lot last time we were here. But I have been having some pain lately. When I left Canada, just before I'd left, I actually had a UTI, which is, you know, no big deal. You just treat it with some antibiotics. Then I couldn't make it into the lab because the lab wait times were too long right before I left to get tested again to make sure it had gone away because I was still having symptoms. Here we are, and I've just had some kind of like unexplained, really bad back pain in one right side. Could be nothing, it could be just a strained muscle or something like that, which is probably the case. But because I never had that urine test or that blood work done up before I left, I'm now going to the hospital to go get it done there. And the hospital here is kind of like where you go to get anything done like that, and it's fantastic. But because this kind of came on suddenly and Ben's actually doing a ton of work on the boat, it's so poor timing. And he's got trades coming today, so he's got a welder coming and get a video out for you guys for Sunday. Did I mention it's Saturday? Yeah, it's Saturday. It's tight right now, and video editing is sort of taking a back seat when we work on the boat. Not sure what we're gonna do. We'd like to just sort of not give one out this week, but momentum lags, man, and we hate doing that for you guys. So here we are, trying to do everything once again, and unfortunately, he's wrangling 2 kids. He's really good at it, but it's a lot, man. Like, it's a lot.
I could really get used to this housewifing thing. I snuck a little nap in. This little dude slept on me. And we're just gonna pop down the boat, see how the diesel cleaning's going in a second here after our bottle. These two are getting along like gems though. Pretty much independent. Oh, I see, it's not down there. Yeah. So we just had our the Deagle. So the diesel guys just left, the mechanic just left, and they pulled all the diesel out of starboard, and then they tried to put it back in with a sieve and like a sieve funnel, a Mr. Funnel, and it wouldn't go back in because it was so watery and so dirty that it just wouldn't get past the filter on the Mr. Funnel. So they've taken it away. They're gonna leave it for maybe a month, and then they're hoping that the water will separate and the debris will sink down, and then maybe they can use the top of it or whatever. But I'm glad I didn't start that engine, because it would have been a nightmare with filters possibly contaminating the injectors, which are expensive to replace. So yeah, a little bit of preventative, a little bit of foresight. I think this year is gonna take us a long ways in terms of not delaying us and not costing us more money. So we're good to go on the engines. Just got to mount those props, paint the props, paint the bottom, and then we're in the water. Put a baby to sleep, see how the wife's doing.
So I'm on ultrasound now. They're gonna just do a check. We'll see how much all this is, but it'll be really interesting. But ultrasound, urine test. At home I would have just done a urine test and probably been done, but I just want to find out if we're all good and all clear, and let's get this sorted. I'm done not having it sorted. So after a day spent at the hospital, Ben's a day behind on videos. Yeah, he's off to the boat to work. Poor guy. I feel bad. He didn't want dinner. Yeah, we're all alone in this one tonight, eh? Dad's off to work without dinner. Bodhi and I are having a party. He's 4 months old today. Getting so old. He's certainly so big. What are we making? A little lettuce, a little leftovers, maybe an egg, some strawberries. Not much for dinner, hey? Anyway, the hospital, I have to close this cupboard. This kind of thing drives me nuts. The hospital was great, no problem. Apparently I'm a total hypochondriac with a really sore back. But I still have the pain. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. But I do not have a UTI, and I do not have anything wrong with kidneys or anything, which is what I was kind of getting worried about.
I'm just putting on engine room insulation. I'm realizing I haven't seen my family very much in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And it made me realize, like, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes on when you're sailing around the world, when you're taking on an expedition like sailing around the world. And there's even more work involved when you're taking 2 small children across an ocean. And the engine room installation is just poignant because it's so trivial and easy and not a big deal, but it needs to be done because first, it keeps the bed cooler for Willa, and two, if there was ever a fire, it would keep the fire at bay for a little bit longer. And yeah, there's a lot that happens when you guys look at a video that's 10 to 15 minutes long. It's happy, fun, but behind the scenes, there's a lot that happens at night, after hours. Like, it's 11 o'clock right now, and then start the boatyard again tomorrow morning. It's also poignant to realize that there's so many of you watching this, and you're listening to me right now, and in my head it's like 5 people, 10 people, but no, it's like 50,000, 100,000 people watching this, and that's just incredible and so cool to be able to share this journey with you. The world has become a much smaller place for us as we've sailed. It doesn't seem very big anymore because we're over halfway around the world, and we're looking at it thinking, shit, we're gonna do another lap here. We're gonna get probably a different boat, bigger boat, and go again. So yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm also realizing how much work it is to sail around the world with 2 kids. Ashley's a superwoman in terms of parenting and dealing with both of them. But yeah, it's been a lot, and there's a lot that happens off camera. So thank you for following, thank you for watching, thank you for supporting. It's really cool. It's really cool to share this journey. The one thing I learned from last year is that you don't just start up an engine after it's been sitting for a long time. Lifters can get stuck, push rods can get stuck, valves can get stuck. So you crank them over by hand, and these are pretty small engines. I mean, this is a 4-banger. You don't even need to take out the injectors to release the compression. You basically just put a socket in the bottom crankshaft pulley and turn it over. You have to do about 4 to 8 times because you want to activate each intake valve and each exhaust valve. So you do that for each cylinder. So it should be, I think, 8. Correct me if you know better than me, because there's, I'm sure, a lot of you that are a lot smarter than me. But it all sounds good. So I'm going to start it up, see what happens. Okay, let's confirm with the voltmeter, and then I guess we'll try and charge it. I don't have a battery to battery charger. It's done through a diode. .55. That's not super low, but it's not high. I do have a thought, and I remembered this. One thing I remember is that our electrician who installed our lithium bank, he's actually quite smart dude. He did a parallel switch from lithium to starter battery in case the starter battery is dead. So let's try it out and see if the engine starts that way. I always have to put the hose in the strainer. This is the raw water strainer at the back. That's the only way to get water into the engine when it's on the hard. But it sounds good. It smells like old egg. Good to go. Let's go sail around the world. What do you guys think? Want to come along for the ride? Got a couple of engines that work. Got one sail up. Got air conditioning. You guys won't be able to feel any of that. Not the air conditioning, that is. There you go. It's running. Did a few things before I left at the end of last season. change the oil, change the fuel filter, change the oil filter. These are all good things to do before you leave your boat, instead of when you come back after it's been sitting for 7 months, because that oil actually becomes acidic while you're away, and as soon as you start it up, the oil seals and whatnot will start to pay the price for that. But I think we're ready to launch, basically. Yeah, I could probably launch with one engine. Probably not. Probably not going to try that. Should probably try one more time to start without the lithium house bank bridge over. So, how do you feel, Ash?
I feel pretty good, but I haven't been doing the bulk of the work, and I feel, let's just say not refits, this wasn't even a real refit. Boat maintenance, and when your boat is on the hard, is probably the hardest part of sailing around the world. And it doesn't matter if you're on the boat doing the work, if you're on the boat supervising the work, or if you're in an apartment taking care of 2 children while your husband's down here from 8 a.m. till midnight every night. So it's hard. There's a lot of decisions, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of sort of anxiety that goes around making the right choice and the right decisions. Are you spending the money in the right places? Is this crazy what you're doing? So how do you feel? I mean, you've done so much of the work. You had a day where you just came home like wiped and basically crashed. How do you feel now? Like, you're obviously
sweaty, exhausted. I think what it is it's an emotional roller coaster, and not even a roller coaster, it's just emotional doing a refit because of the amount of money you're spending and the amount of time you're spending on the boat, working on the boat. And I think it goes to say, like, if you're gonna go do a trip like this, the first thing you do is you buy a boat, and then you're gonna have to work on it. And that's probably the hardest part about sailing around the world, is that first few months, the first year of learning and spending money and fixing. And if you don't get through that, then you never get to have the high highs that you do when you're actually out cruising. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is the fun part of sailing around the world, but it's a necessary part, and it's okay. It's just part of the price you have to pay.
I don't know if we would have ever left if we just started straight with the boat work. It would have killed us.
I think you have to get out there as soon as possible, and if you can compress that timeline that you're working on the boat as much as possible, even though that's really hard and long days, it's still, I think, the right decision is to spend as little time out of the water or working on your boat as possible.
We'll do a walkthrough of all the things that we've worked on the hard in the yard. On the hard in the yard. It sounds like a kid's song. I've been singing kids songs. On the hard in the yard.
Hey, we can make a kid's book.
About boat maintenance? On the hard in the yard.
My parents keep pulling out their wallets. Maybe it'd be a rap song. Hey, where you going? My tools are in there.
Going to get your tools. But they're going to probably put us in the trailer around just after lunch here, hoist us up, do the last bit of painting that they need to do. Then they're going to put us on the ramp in preparation to go into the water, and then we got to wait for the tide to come in. Basically, the tide's going to come in, we're going to float, and we're going to go.
Yep.
We have some friends that are going to watch over Willa in the apartment, and
Bodhi's going to come with us, and we'll go down as a family of 3 if we sink.
We're not going to sink.
Oh, sorry.
And we're not going far. We're going, basically there's a marina. We're in a boatyard called G&T, and there's a marina right, like, I don't know, a kilometer away from here, called Alpo Marina, and we're going to just pull straight in there tonight. We've already checked out the spot. We know where we're going, and we're going to finish up the last of the boat work, installing the flexi solar panels because they just arrived yesterday and we didn't get to them yet. Putting up clears, pulling the sail up.
Putting cushions out.
Yeah, cushions.
Washing the boat.
Yeah, all that stuff we're going to do at Alpo. Finishing the install of the AC. I don't know, there's a lot to do still. Getting the toilets working.
Yeah, lots of little things.
Yeah. I think we're going to take Friday off. And then we're going to work on a video for you.
Friday off, Friday to the beach, and then Saturday video editing, Sunday back to work. Sorry, I'm playing with a kid's toy behind the camera. It might be noisy.